Welcome to Andy's Donuts, a podcast about everything, anything, and nothing in between. Hello, friends. We're back with another episode. It's a second part of our interview with Fred. Hi, Fred. How are you?
Hey, Handy, pretty good. I'm super happy to be here for this. Looking forward for our conversation.
Yeah, let's pick it up from where we left it last time and talk some more about other things. Tell me more about your interests, about your hobbies.
I'm a huge sports fan. Um, I don't know. I think I kind of grew up like this. The funny thing is that my parents are not really interested in sports, and so I cannot really tell from where I got this. But yeah, I love sports. This is one of my biggest hobbies. I like to do activities, play soccer or football in Europe, and any type of sport in general. I just like it. I don't know. I just like to be outdoors. I like to do things all the time. Um, I like to do a lot of hiking with my family. I would say outdoors and sports in general are the biggest hobbies that I have. But I like to play like computer games sometimes. I have a few other games that I play. I have a few friends that we meet once in a while and that play video games. Um, but yeah, in general, say I like to be in like a social group and do do things with other people.
That's great. I was about to ask you about this social side of practicing sports or playing games. So, do you get together after a football match or after a gaming session?
Yeah, all I would say almost every time. I mean, obviously sometimes you have family and or you have other duties to do, but in general we stay to drink couple beers after a game. You know, you talk about soccer, about just life in general. It doesn't have to be about sports all the time. You know, somebody has an issue or they need something or anything that can be any subject that can rise up at the table. But yeah, usually there people, I think for a lot of people is like a disconnect from the daily issues that they deal with. So it's kind of like an island where you can go and forget about all your problems. You don't think about work. You don't think about your issues that you might have at home or anywhere else in your life. You're there on the field. You focus on that. You don't think about anything else. And then you go and stay with the boys for another chat. And I think it's a stress relief, if you ask me, at least for me.
That's great. Have these events led to friendship, or have you met new people?
Oh yeah,
Sports
all the
or
time. All the time. And obviously here in US, there's always new people coming and going. And when you meet for this type of things, there's always new people showing up. And I can say that led to some great friendships. So yeah, 100%. You develop new relationships. You discover people that have the same interests that you do. Maybe not on all fronts, but at least you have one thing in common. You know, you can talk about football. So that's a
that's,
very good starting point to like build a friendship.
yeah, of course. What about practical advice? Stuff like, maybe a friend recommended you a book or something like that, or
Hmm.
told you about an opportunity or things that could, maybe change your mind or influence your decisions or maybe make you see things in a different light or things like that.
Definitely met people that have their own businesses, quite a lot of them. So definitely had advices and maybe learn about how to run a business and how to manage kind of that side. I mean, I never owned a business or did anything like that, and there is it's not easy. everything comes with a plus and a minus. It's easy to work for a company, but in the same time, it's easy to work for yourself in a way. So definitely, I could say I've learned something on that side that I did not know before.
Let's talk about, for example, stock market. I mean, we come from the same kind of a same background, the same country. I mean, we had no idea what the stock market is and how to get there and things like that. Did you have people or friends that told you more about this and made you take the plunge and, I don't know, invest or do other things that you didn't know they're possible for you?
I think this is kind of how it started, and you're probably one of the persons that kind of got me into the stock market. Our culture and our parents did not really know about finance in general, which I think is a very important part of our life, and I kind of wish I knew more about it, but it's never too late to learn even more. But as I started to discover this financial side of life, I would say, and how much it impacts us, with all my friends, I've started to ask them and say, hey, what do you do? Are you investing money? Are you like, how are you planning your retirement? Kind of, do you want to retire early, like, or do you want to just work all your life? So it's everybody's different. I would say I had a friend that taught me about stock market being like a casino, like you can actually go in and buy option. And I'm not sure if you're very familiar with that, but basically you place a bet that a certain stock by a certain date is gonna have a lower or a higher value than an amount that you pick. And I would say with that, you don't need a lot of money to make money. But in general, the stock market is probably something that if you want to make money, you have to put money in.
Yeah, I don't know about options and stuff like that. Let's talk about things that we know. Your own experience, like what you did and how it worked out for you.
From my experience, I would say I just started, I made like a plan for myself. And obviously, this plan kind of came after I've asked friends and people and read some books and kind of created my own way on how I want to invest in the stock market. I never thought that the stock market is going to be a way to get rich overnight. So for me, it was everything to be like on a long term. I'm going to put this money in and I'm not going to basically take them out till I need them to retire. And obviously, this plan changes. There's small adjustments. There's losses that maybe take at some points or cash in on some wins. But the way I started, I built this plan. I did my budget and said, okay, I can afford to put $50 in my stock market account every week, even if I can afford to buy something or not. I'm just gonna put it there, and that's kind of how I started. The money started to build up. Then I tried to identify some companies that I want to invest in. And for me personally, I could say I looked at companies that have always been doing good and they've been on a trending sand for the last 20, 30 years. And that's kind of how I started to build my portfolio in the beginning. It didn't matter if that stock was down or up, I would just keep buying. Whenever I had the money to buy a stock or two stocks for that company, I would just go in and buy.
So what did stock market taught you up to now? What did you learn?
Uh, I could not say I learned that much, to be honest. It seems to me like the stock market is like a casino. I think the stock market has changed a lot, and
It's a casino if you do day trading and stuff like that, bets. But if you're putting money for the long term, I mean, we don't know yet.
mhm.
We'll have to see in 10 years, 20 years what's gonna happen. So
Correct, but you can take some of the big companies that right now that are on the market, and you could have a very strong argument that they're worth investing now and that they're going to be good in 20 years, but you do not know that for a fact, right? Obviously, there's research that everybody has to do before they buy a stock and kind of what they think is going to do well on the long term. It's still a casino, right? You don't know if the company that's been doing well for 30 years in another 20 is not going to be bankrupt or is not going to be on the market anymore. It's still a casino. You do
Yeah.
not know that, right? With some companies, it's a smaller chance than with others, but it's not impossible. Nothing is impossible in this world. So going back to what I've learned is that money that you're putting in there could be lost. That's the first thing, and that's kind of my mentality. Assuming the worst and enjoying whatever is extra. My strategy is to go long term, but I'm not gonna say I did not took some profits, but also I took some losses as well. So I started to just only go long term, but it is very tempting when you see a stock market doing well, trying to cash in your winnings. In the beginning, I was probably a lot more. I would look at the stock market every 30 minutes. Oh, how is this stock doing? How is that stock doing? But as the time passes, I said, no, if I want this to work, I'm just gonna buy and not look at the stock every 30 minutes. I'm gonna look when I need to buy, and that's it, regardless if I'm on the negative or if I'm on the positive.
So what's the plan for the future then? Are you gonna keep up to your own plan and keep investing, even though these days the market is going down and I think we're going straight into a recession?
That's a very high chance it's gonna happen. We never know, right? So, like a good example that I have before I go into my plan. 4 years ago, I was looking to buy a house for myself and my family, and everybody was telling me, "Don't buy a house. A crisis is about to happen. You're gonna get your house for nothing. Just be patient, like another 6 months, and you'll see everything is gonna go down." And I didn't. I just went in, bought a house. I was kind of forced to do it. Me and my wife had a baby on the way, so we were still living with rent. So we wanted to be in our own house before we had our son. And said, hey, if he's gonna crash, he's gonna crash. It is what it is, but we need a house. We need the house to stay. And that never happened. So in four
Yeah, sure.
years, our house doubled in price. Obviously, yes, something can happen tomorrow and the value of the house could go down, but I find it very hard to believe that it's gonna get back to those prices again. Again, that's why I said you never know. Some of the decisions you have to make is just instinct and what you think. Coming back to the stock market and talking from my view, right? You have so many things that you wanna do, invest, but you need to have a budget and basically hope you have enough to like put money in all those buckets that you have. For me right now, the stock market, I still have all my money in the stock market. I'm still buying, but not at the rate that I used to buy because I'm starting to have other priorities and I want to start dipping my toes in other places. So I have a nice portfolio, I would say, on like the stock market. I have a few silver and gold coins as well. Not a lot, but I'm happy with what I have. I still buy, but not that much. And my big focus right now is trying to have some cash because I want to invest in another property. I want to get another house. The thing is not something that I want to do right in this moment, but I'm hoping in the next year or so there's something I can do. And unfortunately, since the budget is not very high, I have to cut the investments on the stock market or on the gold and silver coins and start building some cash to be able to do this. investment with a property.
Prices for houses are at all-time high. I don't know about the US, but in the UK, that's the case.
It's the same thing, but who can tell me for a fact, or who has the magic ball to tell me, oh yeah, just wait 6 more months and you're gonna get this house that you want right now for half the price? This is like a gut feeling, right? And one thing that I've learned so far in my life is that go with your gut feeling. I mean, listen to other people's opinion, but when you make the decision, you make sure you are making the decision and nobody else.
Yeah, definitely. But you need to have all the information. You need to have all
Hmm.
the facts.
Correct, but at some point it's still a gamble. A lot of
But
the decisions that you make, they're a gamble. You don't know if they're right or wrong. You're gonna
yeah,
find
but
out in the future.
if you can gather as much information as possible, then your chances improve to do the right thing and make
Correct,
the
yes.
right choice. I don't like the right choice because I don't think there are good choices and bad choices, but it depends of circumstances and other things.
It
But anyway,
depends how you look at things though, right? Like if you do your research and you find out, let's say on the stock market, there's a new company and you're gonna think is gonna blow up, and there's a few people that tell you, oh yeah, buy this and get that, and you go and invest $10,000 and then that company goes bankrupt. I'm not sure if that's not a bad decision, no? So there
well,
is bad and good decisions.
yeah, but that's only after, you know.
Correct.
So when
And
you make the decision, you don't know. So it can't be
exactly.
right or good or bad. It's just a decision. You're
Hmm.
gonna go that way. But then in time you'll find out if it was the right path for you or not. But until then, you can't say it was a bad decision. So
Yes,
only
correct, 100%.
if you look back and then you can say, oh, it wasn't a very
Hmm.
good choice. But a decision is a decision. You have to go in a direction, like I did with the Tesla stock. I decided to sell. Well, it it could have been the best decision I made, but unfortunately, it wasn't because then the price went like 5, 10 times up. So yeah, you can never know.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. So that's why when you're asking me about is this the right time to buy property, I don't know.
When I decided to sell the stock, I looked at the facts. You know, it was like the beginning of the pandemic. The Fremont factory closed. There was a lot of fear in the markets. Everybody was selling. Everybody was saying that it will go down. So obviously that influenced my decision, and I decided that's the right thing to do. But then it wasn't. So yeah, gathering
So,
all the facts is not
mhm.
always.
So that's why I said, I mean, you can get all the facts, but that doesn't mean at the end of the day the decision you're gonna make is gonna be good or bad. You don't know, as you said, till the future, right?
Yeah.
So when you're asking me about a house, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Is not something that I want to do right now. But the thing is, I feel like I need to put more
Yeah, but
money in that
the,
bucket than I have to put in my other
the thing
investments.
is, do you have the money to do that? That's the question.
And that's the thing, right? So that's why I said my investment into the stock market and to like the gold coins or silver coins and all that kind of is on a back burner right now. It's still there, but not at the level it was before because right now I need the cash.
You know what they say about cash in when the inflation is so high and they're printing money all the
Hmm.
time, they lose value. So don't you think your money invested in the stock market will keep their value better than having cash in the bank?
Potentially, yes. But let's say you put all your money in the stock market and then market crashes and you need your money out then for another
Yeah,
investment. Are you willing to take that loss or no?
you know what they say, it's not a loss until you sell.
Okay,
So
that's what I said.
you're not
But
you're
I
not
have
selling.
correct. Well, but I have another opportunity, and if I had that cash that I invested in the stock market, I could take that opportunity and invest in that this chance I have. But if
Well,
all my money are stuck in the stock market because it just went down, maybe I'm losing that train.
yeah, but as you said, you're investing $50 every week. In 6 months, you won't have a lot of money to take the other opportunities.
This was
Okay.
just an example. It's not a real amount. The real amount could be higher or less. It depends on each person budget and how much they want to invest. I started with $20 and then I started to increase that amount.
Well, what I'm
So
trying to say is that the sum you're not investing in the stock market, let's say in
mhm.
6 months, it won't be a large sum of money. It wouldn't allow you to make big investments. That's what I'm trying to say.
So let's say in 6 months I'm gonna put 1,000 a month, right, in the stock market. That's 6,000. That 6,000 could help you to do something else with them.
Can you buy a house with 10% down payment?
Actually, here in US, you need 5% to buy a house. So if you want to
Really?
buy a property for $200,000, you need $10,000.
Oh, I'm moving to US then.
I've told you many times to come over. 6,000, $10,000 is not huge amount, right? So rather than to have that money in the stock and being blocked there because the stock market went down, I'd rather have that money cash and be able to take an opportunity if it comes up.
Well, Fred, I know you're well diversified in your portfolio in the stock market, so just sell the ones that are positive, that are winning.
um, yeah, I mean, I wish I had that much stocks, but actually my portfolio is not that big.
Well, we covered a lot of ground for this second part of our interview, but I've still got a few questions for maybe part three. So we should continue this next week in part three. Thanks for listening, guys. See you next week. Bye.